Here last time. Okay, great. First name?
Ray.
Ray, R-A-E?
White.
R-A-Y-E. Awesome. Great. Last name?
Harris Center.
Let's say again?
Lonely.
Harris.
Harris.
Harris? That's it? But there's something more.
Southern.
Harris Southern. Really? That's kind of cool. I got it. Okay, so it's okay. So Harris Southern, Harris. But what do you go? But you go by the whole thing? Good, awesome. Willie knows I have a agent I'm using to sell my home up in Tennessee is a Colt Taylor, and she's hyphenated, but because Colt is like really, her dad was in real estate for years and years and years, so she keeps the name, and it's very good. Oh, by the way, nobody died and nobody's getting married. So you're wondering why I have a suit on? It's like, what in the world? It's a capper's lunch, and then I've got an Orlando meeting. I've got a networking meeting but normally I don't wear a tie, so don't think that I'm going right to a funeral from here or going right to a wedding because I'm not normally a tie guy. But plus, I had to wear it in honor of Willie. Willie lives up in Tennessee as well, and he and I met. I had workout clothes on, and he had his tie on, so I said, all right. Willie's going to be here today. I better wear a tie and make sure I'm good to go. So, yeah, right. There you go. Okay, let me cover this real fast. Let me get some. On the 100K group page, one of the agents, I don't know if you saw in the 100K group page. By the way, if you're not part of the 100K group page, this is the main source of communication for us. Make sure you join. If you haven't joined, join because you're missing stuff if you're not there. Okay, great information. It's an opt-in, which means, or you have to have permission to get in, so you have to request to be in, and once you're in, I'll let you in. Once I vet you a little bit to make sure that, there's not going to vet you as much as we will our next Supreme Court justice, but we'll vet you all the same. Okay. All right. That being said, somebody posted that they were trying to get in with a for sale by owner. Did you guys see that post? Somebody said they wanted to sit an open house at a for sale by owner, and they were kind of debating, how do I go about that? What's the best way? And I just said, hey, look, 10 minutes, first 10 minutes. So some of our nexters are hanging around. The people that were in the first meeting, they're hanging around because they wanted to hear the part, and then after I'm done with this, they're gonna bail. All right, plus, they have to get to the cappers luncheon anyway. So, you guys coming to cappers luncheon? No, can't make it. Willie, you're welcome to go. You got to fly out. Okay, you go door knock. Okay, very good. All right, good deal. With that being said, they were asking about, okay, how do I attack for sale by owners? Now, let me real quick, and I'll literally make this in 10 minutes. If you're looking for a way to attack a for sale by owner, it's a piece of cake. All right. I remember, harken back. I got into real estate in 1993, 1996. I was at a Prudential office, Marilyn Tracy. I can remember like it was yesterday. Sales manager, Gestapo-ish sales manager, all right? This is old school. I'm going to teach you how we did it in 1968, all right? And so she was teaching us 1968, combat tactic styles of going after listings, right? You're going to call. First of all, she has to call expireds every day, all right? And I'm sitting in a cubicle, and there's 5 people down the road from me. We're all calling from the same list. I'm like, I think everybody's going to get pissed by the time they, that the same company calls them 5 times, and how many companies are out there doing this very same thing? All right, so that's what she taught us. And I remember vividly, all right, here's how we're going to attack for sale by owners. We're going to go out, and the first thing you're going to demand an appointment with them because you're going to get in there, and once you get in, you're going to tell them only a fool represents themselves in court, and only an idiot would ever attempt to sell their home themselves. You're going to take a stack of papers, that's the contract and the disclosures, and you're going to go waving or walking around the house, and you're like, are you prepared to deal with this and this? And you start throwing the papers around, and they get so overwhelmed by the fact that they don't know how to handle the paperwork, they're going to say, oh, please list my home. I kind of scratched my head. I was, 25 years old at the time. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound too good. I don't know if I want to do that. It's kind of rude, right? Plus, I sat there and said, okay, let me reverse roles here and put myself in their shoes. Somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm going to dig my feet in dig my heels in even further and say, I don't care if I never sell my home, all right, but I'm going to do it because you're telling me I can't, all right? Or if I ever did, it sure as heck ain't going to be with you, all right? So, here's what I did. I told you I was working with buyers, right? You guys that were here before, all right, that I said, if you're going to last in this business, you better work with buyers, and buyers will lead you to listings. So I said at one time, you know what, I'm going to go out and attack some for sale by owners. So here's what I did. I said, I'm going to go, I was better face-to-face, right? 7 levels of communication, right? It says anyway that the higher you up on the levels of communication, meaning the closer you get to being eyeball to eyeball with a person, the more effective you are. And I found that I was better face-to-face. So I said, I'm going to not be like everybody else. People say, oh, I went and I approached the for sale by owner. So what'd you do? Well, I have my little glossy trifold brochure. I said, okay, great. And what'd you do? Well, I went at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Okay, when you knew they wouldn't be home. Go ahead. All right. And, oh, yeah. And I knocked on the door. Nobody was there, so I left my information. I said, oh, you left your information in the front door. I said, were there 8 other brochures stuffed in the door just like yours? Yeah, how'd you know? I said, because they don't use the front door. They go in the garage, so they're not going to see it for a week and a half. All right, because they go in and out of the garage, number one. And that's why there's still 8 there, all right, and you were one of 8. And who are you compared to the other 8? A glossy on the brochure? All right, wait, I don't get it, all right? So what I teach is this. Go knock on their door when you try and find them home, all right? So Jim's a for sale by owner. I've researched this thing. He has, by the way, a for sale by owner, cold lead or warm lead? Warm. Why warm? They've shouted to the world, I need to sell my home, right? A cold lead is, let me start with Adam Adams in the phone book. Hi, Mr. Adams. This is Bob McDougall with Future Home Realty. I was wondering if you're looking to buy or sell real estate. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to Andrew Adams. Hey, Mr. Adams. This is Bob McDougall. Okay, thank you. Right? That's cold leads, right? Warm lead is somebody that says, I have a need. I need to sell my real estate, and I want to do it on my own. Okay? So it's a warm lead. Knowing going in already that you've got a warm person, that they at least have a desire to sell their home, that's a beautiful thing. So I go knock on our door. I've already researched. I know it's Jim Shands because I drove by, saw the for sale by owner, pulled public records, and you're good to go. Right? So I did my research on it. So I'm knocking on the door. 10 a.m. on a Saturday, trying to catch Mr. Shands home. Right? I see cars in the driveway. Looks like kids' toys are out. Things are happening, right? There's somebody more than likely home. All right? First thing I do. Hey, Mr. Shands, Bob McDougall. All right, yes, I'm with Future Home Realty. And before you close the door on me, all right? And I would laugh with them. He'd say, what? And I said, hey, look, I know you've probably been inundated with realtors coming by. Let me tell you, right now, I don't want to list your home. All right? What do you mean? I said, look, I don't want to list your home. I work with buyers. All right? It's really my preference. But let me tell you this. I've got probably 8 or 10 buyers I'm working with right now, and I do because I've been sitting bank-owned open houses, and I actually have a list of buyers that is qualified. I can actually look somebody in the eye and say that. I've got 8 or 10 buyers that I'm actively working with right now, and quite frankly, your home may or may not fit what they're looking for, and I may have a buyer for your home. Let me ask you this, Mr. Shands. If I can bring, I don't even know what you're asking, all right? I have some ideas. I've run some numbers, but that's based upon square footage. I don't know how many bedrooms you have. I mean, your sign doesn't say anything, so I don't know what you have. But let me ask you this. If I could bring you an offer that, even with factoring in a commission for me, would net you what you want to walk away with, would you take a look at that offer? Would you even consider it? Now, let me tell you, 99% of the time, the answer is yes. All right? The other 1% is no way, because my wife ran off with a realtor, and realtors suck. Right? Okay. And I'm never going to, deal with a realtor for the rest of my life. All right. Because, I don't care. Right. Okay. Well, that's the 1%. All right. Great. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry that happened. Have a great day. Right. And you're gone. But 90%, well, what do you mean? I said, what I mean is, what are you asking? Oh, I'm asking 120. Okay. So if I brought you an offer for 125, right, with a $5,000 commission to me, all right, that you were netting 120, would you take a look at that from a qualified buyer? Well, yeah. I consider it. Right. I'm not saying, no problem. Great. Listen, that's just what I want, because I work a lot with buyers. Let me ask you this. There's a time, I don't know, today may not be a good day. Is there a time I could come by, and this is 1996, now I would do it even differently. I'd say, could I come by and just take a look, get a feel for what your home has, so I know, because I'm out with my buyers quite a bit, and we want to find out what your home has, and maybe even snap a few pictures. Now I can snap a few pictures on my phone. Back then, I'd maybe snap a few photos and get them developed. You're like, what? Exactly. Let me set up with a big cloth over my head. Little poof, the little light thing this side that goes off. So back then I'd have to do all that, but now you can sit there like, say, let me just keep a little file on my phone, right? That I could snap some photos and show my buyers what you're with. And then I would joke with them. See, I'm a very loose guy, right? I'd say, because quite frankly, Mr. Shands, I don't know if you know this, I have some buyers looking in this subdivision, and I don't drive them down your street. Like, what? I said, yeah, I know you're here, and I don't want them to ask me about your home. What do you mean? So, well, I don't know if you know, but I get paid by selling homes, and I make commissions, and that's how I eat and feed my family. All right? So or if I got stuck on your street and I saw it coming, trust me, we'd start going a little faster when we got close to your house, and I look over there, there's a bird, all right? Everybody would look over there, and we'd buy your house, and then we joke about the fact I said, look, I'm not going to, these buyers are, I want to find them home, but I also want to eat myself, right? So I make commissions, and I love to do it. I'd love to show them your home. I think we can work something out that would make sense. Okay, great. So now's the house is a wreck. Don't worry. I said, no problem. We come back. What, Tuesday? Good. 6 o'clock sounds good sometime. Well, what do you want? So here's two things. Let me ask you this. I saw your sign. You got it at Home Depot, and by the way, I couldn't even read your phone number on there. One guy mentioned last night, this is a great idea, is to carry magic markers with you and say, hey, look, at the very least, you mind if I just make your phone number show up better? Because it's faded, all right? It's also, by the way, a sign that your house has been on the market a long time, and buyers, see that. If your, sign's faded and the number's gone and everything else. So let me help you out. You know what? I've got a great relationship with the printer, all right, and the sign company. How about if I made you a good sign? What do you mean a good sign? With your name on it? I said, no, whatever you want to put on, your name's not on it now, just for sale by owner with a phone number. Okay, but your phone number. I said, what? I said, yeah, just make it look a little more professional. And said, I noticed you don't have any flyers. Sometimes it's kind of cool. People just want to know some basic, what if I made it really, I've got a template. It won't take me 10 seconds to snap some photos and drop it into my templated flyer, put your name and number at the bottom, and do it. It's like, what in the world? Why would you do it? I said, well, you know what? You want to sell your home? You know what? It matters. If nothing else, we get it off the market, so I have to drive by your house at 90 miles an hour anymore. All right? Yeah, seriously, I'd say that. At least it's out of my way or whatever. Seriously, I was having this kind of conversation with these guys. All right? And he'd say, all right, whatever. I said, the other thing, too, is I noticed you don't have a sign-in sheet. Now, again, I think you should be tracking who's coming in your home. Right? Now, we all know, trust me, I've been in the real estate business long enough that people put Mickey Mouse on there, right? And they give you fake names and fake numbers, and I get that. But there's something psychological. If they come in and they feel like they're signing in, that at least someone's watching, right? That they're maybe not going to steal your stuff while they're in there. Just psychologically that someone's tracking what they're doing. So it might help just a little bit. Plus, I know you're probably wondering, why would I do all this? All right? Here's where it all comes down. How about this? I'll promote your home if we're willing to work a deal. If I can find a buyer, great. But in the meantime, continue to market your house. Two things. Every couple weeks, or depending on your activity, how about if I swing by and I'll just exchange out your sign-in sheet? All right? Because, A, you don't want that to look stale anyway, because that has oatmeal stains and cookie crumbs and all that kind of stuff that your kids leave on it. They're going to know, A, it's been on the market a while, and that is going to hurt your negotiating position. Or if there's 15 names on the list already from 2.5 months. People are going to say, this hasn't sold in 2.5 months. What's wrong with it? All right. So let's keep that fresh. And then when I pick it up, I told you I work mostly with buyers. Here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to ask you, hey, Mr. Shantz, all right, are there any names on here that are interested, hot and ready on your home? If they are, we'll black them out right now and leave them alone. If not, I told you I work with buyers. These buyers are kind of shooting, and they're obviously probably not working with a realtor, and they're signed in as a for sale by owner. I'm going to call them up and see if I can help them find a home. If yours doesn't work, does that sound like a fair trade-off? That's all I'm asking to trade off. You found some buyers that I'm not working with at this point. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll see if some of my buyers are on your list. I'm going to have a discussion with my buyers then. All right, if all of a sudden they've signed in without me coming and do it, right? And so he's like, well, that's fair enough. You can provide a sign and that, I said, why not? Well, here's what happens. I would do this, and I literally did it with 8 or 10 people, all right, in the first year, because they're like totally, laid back, totally, backward. Hey, look, and I've got this part. Here's part of the script. Hey, you know what, Mr. Shantz? You know why? I don't blame you for not wanting to pay a commission. If I could sell my car without paying a commission, I would. If I could sell my bicycle without paying a commission, I would. If I could sell anything without having to have some of my hard-earned equity taken away by the salesperson, I get it. I understand why you're headed there. Now, what I found is a lot of times, if it's done correctly, that a good salesperson can justify their commission and actually have you net more even after paying a commission, but we can have that discussion later on. But I get it while you're doing it. I don't blame you. All right? I'm with you. I understand. But in the meantime, would you, be willing to pay me a 3% commission if I was able to, structure something, yada, yada, yada. So we get to that stage. Great. I get the sign, I get the flyer made, I get things rolling. All right. I say, hey, what's a good time? Let's just, I'll call him up. Hey, Jim, because now we're Jim now. All right. Now we're friends. I'm digging a deeper relationship. I didn't tell him he was an idiot for trying to sell his home himself. Right. Only a fool represents himself in court. So now we're Jim and Bob. All right. Hey, Jim, this is Bob. Hey, I was going to swing by tomorrow morning and just switch out the sign-in sheets. Is that cool? Yeah, no problem, Bob. Come on in. So I come in. All right. Ooh, hey, looks like it's slowed down a little bit, not having as many showings right now. Yeah, he goes, and those are the 3 people that came. So we had 8 appointments. 5 just never showed. Had the house completely ready. Tired, you know what? I said, well, that's, that happens. No problem. No, Bob. Not only get me a new sheet, get your sign in my yard, get a lockbox on this door, I'm done. Okay? About 80% of the time, that's what occurred. The other 20% of the time, Jim found a buyer himself. And you know what else I'd worked out with Jim? Hey, Jim, you know what else? If you get a buyer and you find somebody, you guys have negotiated a deal and everything's good and you're solid, you may not know what to do next. For 1%, I'll write up the deal and get it to a title company, make sure it gets closed. Oversee it. Oh, I can't believe you would discount yourself to work for 1%. So yeah, while you just drove by and made 0%. Number one. Number two, I've developed a relationship. All right? Absolutely. With 2 people. I've got 2 more people in my database now that know that I'm a legitimate guy that's willing to do it. Plus, guess what? Paid for my sign. The 1% paid for my sign and paid for my gas and paid for some of my other efforts. And quite frankly, I did pick up some buyers as I was exchanging out those things. It was a non-aggressive, very low-key conversation to have with a for sale by owner. All right? And it worked. Now, again, I'm not out in the market right now. I don't know how many for sale by owners are there. There are more popping up now because things they should be. Statistics tell us that as sale inventory gets low and the quicker sales come, then all of a sudden people say, I can sell this on my own. By the way, people are all excited when they sell a home in 2 days. That's great. But here's the problem. Now, when that happens and the average marketing time comes way down, you better get really good at justifying your value in the marketplace, because the consumer is going to say, man, they stuck it in before it even they didn't have time to do, and now I'm just separating myself with, let's see, 200,000, 6%, $12,000. A lot of money, right? Now, they don't see all the work you do in the backside and everything else. They're like, they didn't have time to get their sign in the yard, and they're making 12 grand. Yeah, exactly, right? And and they're thinking, okay, I made over the last 6 years, I made 24,000 in equity, and I'm giving half of it away to you for your 2 days worth of work, right? I'm just telling you, right? You got to think like the consumer thinks. Like, oh yeah, that's just the way we are. Well, okay, don't get too much piety in you, right? You need to step back for a second and say, you know what? It is a lot of money, and I get it, and I understand why you're trying to do it on your own, right? Half your equity is just going to go away like this because I happen to pass a test and I paid my board dues. All right, barely paid my board dues just in the nick of time. All right. So before I got, kicked out of the board, right, to do that. So I'm just telling you, it was very low key and structured. That's going to be more like you, all right. But the concept is, would I sit open houses for them? Sure. Hey, do they want me to? All right. Well, I'd have somebody sit an open house for them. They'd say, well, Bob, that you've got this, you say you want to work with buyers. I say, yeah, you know where I meet most of my buyers? Bank-owned open houses. Not at yours. Said, but the chances of me finding a buyer for your home is better if I sit at a bank-owned open house than I sat at your house. Like, what? I said, yeah, I'm just telling you, the people I'm going to meet, I have your house open, your neighbors are coming. All right? I have a bank-owned open house. I got people that are looking whose son and daughter might be just moving, and your house might fit perfectly for them. I told you I'm working with 8 to 10 buyers at a time. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm sitting in bank-owned open houses and mean a lot more people than just 3. All right? So that's what I do. That's the way I roll. So you know what? We won't have an open house per se, but I'll know that I can show it, and I'll just make an arrangement for you to do it. Fair enough. And that's, I'm telling you, it becomes fun. You have fun with it. Did some people say, no, I'm not going to deal with any realtors? Sure. All right. Did some people never list with me? Sure. Did some people sell it on their own? Absolutely. Did they sell it on their own and not use me to write it up for 1%? Sure. Okay? What it is, whatever. All right? Compared to what? My answer all the time, Bob, should I sit at an open house on a Wednesday afternoon? My answer is always, compared to what? Compared to writing an offer? No. Compared to going to a listing presentation? No. Compared to watching Law and Order reruns? Yes. Right? Okay? So it depends on what else you got going on. If you got something else that's productive going on, then don't do it. All right? But if you do have something, if you don't have anything productive going on, absolutely. Okay? You guys are dismissed if you want it. Yeah. Darlene, are you coming tomorrow tonight or to the luncheon? Okay, we'll see you there. All right, see you guys. Willie, good to see you again, man. All right. Okay, fair enough. Cool. So that's out of the way and done. All right, let's roll. Okay. Most of you were here last time, right? So we're going to fly through this. You, first name again. Ray. I knew that. R-A-Y-E. Okay. Ray, and a hyphenated last name of some sort. So we got that. Something Southern. Harris Southern. See, look at that. Got it. All right. Okay. All right, so we'll go through this fast. If you want to see last time, we had it recorded. So we're going to review just a little bit of what we covered last time. Is that remember our willingness to go? This is going to be painful. I did add one thing here. Were you here for the tattoo last time when I discussed the tattoo? Yes. Okay. We're going to replace fear and failure habits. Stop listening to the old you. And since our last one, because I read so much, I was reading again in a Norman Vincent Peale book. And I got to read you this excerpt from this book. Talk about fear. Remember how we talked about fear and failure habits? How my dad had that plaque on his desk that said, if everything seems to be going right, you've obviously overlooked something, right? Just a real negative attitude, the way to go about life. Something else I read hit me about that, and I want to check on it. What's that? Yeah, you missed it. Exactly. Capper's lunch, and that's right. See. Who died and who's getting married, right? Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I warned you. Nobody died. Nobody's getting married. I got the Capper's lunch, and then I got a networking event in Orlando tonight. So, but yeah, it's like, what's up? Exactly. It's so not you. Yeah, exactly. Who are you, and what'd you do with Bob? All right. Let me read you this excerpt. Positive Imaging. This is from this book, Positive Imaging by Norman Vincent Peale. So Peale wrote all his books, Power of Positive Thinking, way back in the day, in the 1950s. He lived all the way up to 1993. Wrote every power of this, power of that. Great stuff, by the way. I'm a big Peale guy. I love Peale. All right, but so some of that, just bear in mind that this was written in 1960. So he talks about his wife going to a dressmaker, having it's what happened in 1960. Okay, they didn't do it. So Jerry's laughing. So that's right, exactly. Okay, so here he was. On our last trip to Hong Kong, Ruth, his wife, had an appointment with the dressmaker, which left me with some time on my hands. Walking through the narrow streets of fascinating Kowloon, I came upon a tattoo parlor run by an elderly Chinese practitioner of this ancient and venerable art. In the window of his shop were displayed the various decorations that could be imprinted on your skin if that sort of embellishment applied to you. Okay? Flags and patriotic slogans, anchors and daggers, skulls and crossbones, mermaids, and so on, right? All the things you could choose to have tattooed on your body, all right? But the one that caught my eye was a somber phrase, born to lose. It says that interested me so much that I went into the shop and asked the proprietor if he spoke English, which he did to some extent. Then I asked him about the born to lose tattoo. Did people really ask to have that permanently imprinted on themselves? Yes, he said. Occasionally they did. The last customer who wanted it had it emblazoned on his chest. Okay. Why on earth, I asked him, would anyone want to be branded with a gloomy slogan like that? The old Chinese man gave an oriental shrug, and his limited English said, before tattoo on chest, tattoo on mind. How powerful is that? Is that was just an outward manifestation of how that person had been trained to think of himself, right? And what a powerful thing for us to remember is that there are some things that we probably have tattooed on our mind that we need to de-tattoo, right? I know there's companies out there, right, that are laser tattoo removal or whatever. It's like, Holy smoke, drunken stupor, and I wish I'd never done that, right? Exactly. How in the world did that get that? What's that?
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. Exactly. Right. It's, and so that's right. Not only were you drunk, but the tattoo artist was drunk as well. Exactly. Bad news. Exactly. But that being said, we're going to help you learn to replace some of those fear and failure habits. All right. My goal for us when we leave here by 11:20, because we have to leave here by 11:20 because of my capper's lunch, right? Is that I'm going to leave you with a positive sense that, you know what, I can do this. All right. To whatever extent that may be. All right. It may be, you know what, I'm going to sell 3 homes this year. It might be, I'm going to sell 30 homes this year. It might be that I'm going to change my life, and whether I sell a home or not, I'm going to actually live organized in my life. All right. If any of that applies and you get it, that's success to us. All right. So we're going to get that. We're going to find the leak, because I'm going to help you make money, but I've also learned that I've been around realtors, including myself, long enough that I can help you make a lot of money. But the more I help you make, the more you're going to spend. All right. So I'm going to help you also learn how to manage yourself so that you don't make the same mistakes I did. All right. Remember that great realtor prayer we talked about. All right. That we don't piss it all away this time. All right. Submit to the law of the harvest. Okay. You got to agree to this. You got to agree that I have no expectation. I have no right to ask the land for food if I have not planted. Agreed? I cannot go. We are not, this is not Bernie Sanders land. All right. We cannot expect something for nothing. All right. By the way, I heard a great quote that people said, the guy who promises to rob Peter to pay Paul will always get 100% of Paul's vote. Okay. So submit to the law of the harvest. All right. Be honest about where you are and what it's going to take to get you where you want to be. All right. Let's not lie to ourselves. We got to be honest about where we are. Do we have some tattoos that we need to clean up? Okay. Mind tattoos. All right. Body tattoos we don't need to know about. All right. Okay. But the mind tattoos. All right. But did I show it? I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you. I told them last night, I said I would never do that because this one is recorded. All right. So this time, implement. Don't just say it, do it. All right. This time, remember we talked about last that we're going to actually learn something and do it this time instead of just learn it for learning it. Oh, that was awesome. What'd you do? That was awesome. But that was awesome. All right. It's just amazing, right? So we're going to actually do it. We're going to implement and see what happens. Okay. Imagine this. We talked about just visioning, netting $100,000 in the business, enjoying the real estate business, working with people you want to work with, controlling the transaction, being true to your priorities, discovering purpose in life. We're not doing this just to sell real estate. It's like, you know what? There's something better. I was put on earth to achieve something here. All right. And this can be an ends to a means to an end. Thank you. Okay. Whatever that is. All right. It could be help you get where you want to go. Let's say it that way. All right. But it's not the be all end all. All right. Selling real estate is not it. The cool thing about real estate, though, is you can actually help a lot of people by doing it. It's a pretty cool transaction. All right. It's not like selling, God bless, Tupperware is great, but it's not like selling Tupperware. All right. It's like you're selling, a change of a lifestyle here. Right? Although Tupperware is pretty important. All right, I'd like Tupperware. There's a change of life. Exactly. All right, but that being said, it's you're actually to get somebody out of renting and into owning. All right, you can change their whole financial future and their whole destiny for legacy for generations to come. All right, and you know what? It sounds like I'm overhyping that, but I'm not. You can make the change. I'm a firm believer in poverty cycles, in that somebody has to be a chain breaker. All right, families stuck in the cycle of poverty. Somebody has to decide that I'm going to break through. Unless somebody does, the chain it's an never ending cycle. Somebody. Now, if you can be the person that helps that somebody, boy, what a good feeling that gives, right? To break that poverty cycle. Creating residual income from the real estate business, we can get. That's what we're talking about in that first meeting. The next, by the way, the nexters, they qualified. They did at least 14 transactions last year and/or $4 million in sales. That's why they were allowed to come to that other meeting. All right, and we're talking. Where do we go from here? All right, how do I expand my business without having to put in 10 times as much time? You know what I mean? What do I do? Is there ways to put systems in place and different things? All right, and we'll get to that with you once you get to the point. We got to get you to step one first. Fair enough? Cool. David, you should come to that. All right, sounds great. How are we going to do it? Study those who are doing it and have done it. We're going to learn from others in the room. Okay, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. By the way, remember we talked about the fact that I could tee up a golf ball and hit a 3-wood and land on another, that golf ball lands on another training, real estate training somewhere from here, right? Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. Remind me at the end, we're going to talk about why people hire a coach, all right? Now, there's only one reason why people, it's not for the knowledge, because if you wanted a great for sale by owner script, Google it. Seriously, I mean, no coach is going to tell you something you can't find on the internet. All right? What a coach is going to do? Accountability. All right? I don't know. I was paying this guy $3,000 a month, and all of a sudden I started doing $8,000 more business a month. Is he worth it? Absolutely. All right? Get $8 more grand. He paid him 3 of it, and that's why. What did he do? He made me do it. Plus, I knew I paid him $3,000. I was wasting my money if I didn't do it, right? That's why, when Keller Williams, makes you pay $850 for Bold, all right, to go to Bold, there's value in doing that. Why? Because now you've got skin in the game. There's a reason why, you know what I mean? Hey, look, I better do something. I just wrote a check for $850. Now, I don't charge for this training. My thought, though, is it should make you write a check for $850, and if you do what I tell you to do, I'll give you your check back. But if you don't, I'm cashing it. All right? I said the problem there is that I'm looking across the room, the people who don't do it, the check would bounce. It wouldn't do any good anyway, right? Okay, they didn't do what I told them to do, and the $850 would bounce anyway. So, all right, that wouldn't do any good. So, but the reality is that when you have some skin in the game, that's all that a coach provides in reality is the accountability. All right, because the knowledge we can go find. All right, but who's going to help us learn to make us do it? We're going to focus on income-producing activities, hire out the ones that don't make income. That need to be done, but don't make income, that really don't provide us revenue, right? Learn from our mistakes. Again, we talked about that, which implies we make them, right? Remember Patton? We talked about Patton last time. George Patton's, is a a decent plan executed today is far better than a perfect plan never executed. Right? Go do it. All right? Make some mistakes. All right? Luckily for us, for the most part, Patton, when he made a mistake, people died. All right? Luckily for us, nobody's dying when we make a mistake. All right? Might get your broker sued, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. All right? Okay. Grow personally. All right? Because we're going to stop selling and start attracting business. And if we're going to attract people to our business, we better be attractive. And that means we need to grow. All of us has rough edges on our elbows that we need to kind of sand off some. All right? That, hey, you know what? Probably things I could change about me that would make me, well, giggling about that. It's pretty funny, right? I know. It's true. And you're thinking, including you, McDougal. All right, I got it. That's okay. All right? It's true that we all need to grow personally. And the more we grow personally, the more attractive we're going to become. All right? Physically, emotionally, psychologically, all of it. Feed off the synergy in the room. Stop making and accepting your lame excuses. This is at the point last night I said, they looked at me and I said, remember I told you I was going to leave you feeling positive and excited? Okay, that's coming. All right, right now I'm beating you up a little bit. I'm gonna. It's like the Marine Corps, boot camp. I gotta wear you down first before I build you up. All right, so I'm beating you up first, and I'm gonna build you up to me. But we all do, right? We all know what to do. We just don't do it, and we make all sorts of reasons and excuses of why we can't. All right, because you know what? My blue ink pen ran out, and I could never write a contract in black. All right. We all sorts of reasons, right? As something else happens, I get it, okay? Exercise your freedom to choose. Realize that you are where you are today because of choices you made yesterday, period. It's a tough one to swallow, all right? You and I both, all right? But we are where we are today because of choices we made yesterday. Live in accountability. That's that coaching aspect we talked about. Live a disciplined life because there's freedom and structure. I'm telling you guys, once you get control of your calendar, your life will change. I guarantee it. If I can do one thing for you, it's going to help you get control of your calendar. All right? To be disciplined in that. Consistently evaluate progress. Remember, the more often you do this. This is what I talked about. Sherry, you were there last night. Okay? I've turned 50 this year. All right? My goal for this year, I have a couple physical goals, all right? I got some things that I'm not sharing with people yet because it seems like every time I do it, I get injured and I don't get a point, so I'm not going to even put that out there, all right? So I'm gonna do it, and I'll let you know when I did it, all right? But one of my goals was I'm going to do 73,200 push-ups this year. and 73,200 crunches. Sounds like a lot, right? Especially if I waited to December 30th to get started, right? Okay, right? That's a great goal. Hallelujah, right? Exactly. Here's how I came up with it, all right? I started in November. I said, hey, look, I'm turning 50 next year, so I'm going to start building up a little bit. So I started doing push-ups. I was doing 4 sets of 25 push-ups, doing 100 push-ups a day, all right? Different times. I do some, a couple sets in the morning. It'd be right of the day. Just, if I had, an extra minute and just in between something, I'll just drop down at the office, do 25 and be done, right? Well, I built myself up. I said, well, 200 is good, but I'm knocking through those. So I decided to do 200. Well, 200 times 366, could God bless us with an extra day this year, all right, is 73,200. But here's what I started doing. I said, okay, well, that's great. And I'd say, look, that's a lot, right? But 200 is a lot. But I broke it down into 5 sets of 40. I can do 5 sets of 40, right? I do one here. What I do now is I do one right when I get up. I make the bed, and then I do another set. So I got 2 sets out right then, right? Maybe read a chapter in a book real quick, do another set. Boom, I'm done before the boys even get up to get ready to go to school. All right, so I've got 3 sets done. But there have been times when, as I'm evaluating my progress, hey, you know what? I'm hitting sack, and I only did 4 sets out of my 5. Okay, easy enough. Tomorrow, I need to do 6 sets instead of 5 because I got to keep on track. Are you with me? But if I just taken a week off, right, now I got to make up 35 sets. All right, and like 35 sets, you just took a week off. You're going to want to do that. You know what I mean? And so your mind says it ain't going to happen, right? So I've been consistent in saying, hey, look, and you know what? I'm right on, okay? Last night I owed 2 more sets of 50 because now I've changed it to 4 sets of 50 because I've built up my endurance. I can do 4 sets of 50 now instead of doing 5 sets of 40, which is a math teacher. They'll still multiply to 200, right? Okay, gotcha. All right, so I'm still doing my 200, but I told them last night I still owed 2 more sets, and sure enough, I got my 2 more sets before I got. So I am on track. Today is what, February 17th, right? And I am on track. I got 2 more sets I owe for today. I did 2 this morning. All right.
Let's see.
Okay, that's all right. I'll have to do that next time when I'm not wearing a suit. That's why I wore my suit. That's my excuse. Stop accepting your lame excuse. And that's all right. Make it happen. All right. Trust me, I can do that for you sometime if you want to do it. That's what's that? Right, exactly. All right, we'll YouTube it. We'll put it on there. Yeah, exactly. But the key is, you know what? You got to consistently evaluate. Remember we talked about this is the trip to the moon slide. You guys were here last time. The trip to the moon. The little tiny corrections. All right, more often. All right. So when you correct more often, the corrections are smaller. Fair enough. When I corrected that night, I said, you know what? Tomorrow I need to do 6 instead of 5. It's a lot easier than saying tomorrow I need to do 60 to catch up for the last week and a half that I missed. Right? 6 is doable. 60, my mind says no way. Okay? So I'm just telling you, more often, evaluate your progress. And we call that, we're going to talk about the rituals, all right, that you learned about in the book, all right? And one of my favorites is the Sunday night ritual. Okay, planting, corn planting. Jerry, how'd your open house go?
I had an open house like no other. Bob, you know I'm organized.
Yep.
You know
Mm-hmm.
I'm a planner. I think you know that. I think things through. I had everything all. I reviewed the house.
Yeah.
I knew exactly where I was going.
Yep.
I had my signs in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I put a table in the car. I had chairs in the car. I went ahead and made guest cards.
Yeah.
And clipboards. I mean, this was going to be not just any open house. It was
Right.
going to be the perfect open house.
Right.
I went to the house first before putting out my signs because I wanted to set up the house.
Right.
Code work, got the key, went in, set everything up in the house. Perfect. I was 15 minutes earlier than when I wanted to open. I had time to go out and put up the sign.
Yeah.
Took the key, put it in my pocket, locked the door, bang, got in the car, up to the Dale Mabry.
Right.
Was in police parade.
Right. Got it. I can picture it.
All right. I didn't mind to put out one sign or 2. I put out 3 because it's full.
Sure. Right.
Everybody in the world now going by knows I got an open house. Went to the next corner. Went to public corner. No problem. Put it in. Next corner. Private residence. Put the sign in. Went to the bell. Tell the owner.
Yeah. Right.
Sign in your yard. If you don't mind, I'll be out by 4.
Right.
No answer. All right. Kept going. Went to the next corner. Did the same thing. Went to the house. Put in my sign. Parked the car. I'm set. 5 minutes to 12. I wanted to open at 12.
Right.
Went up to the door. Where's the key?
Oh.
Where is the key? Oh no. Couldn't find the key. Panic. Now I don't panic.
But I'm panicking.
I checked that house every window. I checked it before. This house was button. I'm gonna check it again.
Right?
I checked the house. I checked it again. I went out in front. Are there cars coming? What plan B? I know the house. I know when it was built. I know the square footage.
Silvervision.
I had CMA done. It was all in my head. I looked in the window. There's my table. There's my backpack. There's my bottles of water. There's my pens. There's everything there. We just can't get in to see it. Do I have any paper or pen with me? No, but I've got a phone. I can take notes.
Right?
15 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by, and I'm sitting and it's getting warmer.
Right.
And I'm thinking, there's somebody I need to let know that I've lost his key. That's called the listing broker.
Right.
Well, I have no relationship with this. Is not anything.
Right. So just
So I called, and left a message. Email, left an email. Please contact me regarding access to the house.
Right.
And I waited, and we finally get a call back. What's going on? Well, I'm telling the sad story. This gentleman was not empathetic. It might take till 8 o'clock tonight to get somebody there. And I said, I apologize.
Right.
Bob, I have apologized before in my past.
right.
I apologize more profusely to this guy than I've ever for people. And I'll pay for the.
More apologies than Maxine's ever received. You're right. That's his wife, by the way.
I've done a lot of apologies. So I waited another 10 minutes. My mind was restored.
Sure. Understood.
And I thought, if somebody does pull up, this is kind of stupid.
Right.
I was wondering, I thought, I'm getting those sides down.
Right.
First of all, I'm probably going to lose some today anyway, because somebody's not going to like it.
Right.
So, and I did an investment in these.
Sure.
So I pulled out and got the sign, and I drove home.
Right.
I pulled in, my wife, Maxine, was
Yeah.
there. It's like 4:01. I'm not supposed to be home.
Right.
And it was like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
And I told her the story. Well, we had planned to go to dinner that night. That afternoon, it's like, how do I fill this time?
Right.
Because I'm just bored.
Right.
Okay, fine. I'm going back into my office and I'm going to work on stuff.
Right.
I'm going to work on where I'm going to be next week because these people are never.
Yeah. Right.
And it's a great house. And I had talked to agents in that area.
Right.
I really wanted to sell the house that was behind them. And
Right.
I know the agent.
Sure.
So somebody that helped me buy my home.
Perfect.
It wasn't so much about selling this house, but there was written homes for sale.
Right.
It's really burned. I just was fried.
Right.
And angry. So, but I tried doing some other stuff, and we went out to dinner. We're coming home for dinner. I get that call from the agent that's going to get me at the house. Met her at the house. Had a flashlight with me and everything. It's dark now. 8 o'clock at night. We both pull in. I've never met this lady in my life. I apologize for that. I don't know. I just don't know how it happened. I never lost the key. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I owe you some money.
Right.
And I'm embarrassed. And she opened the door. We went in. And she saw that I had taken the trouble to the wood floors. And my table was repaired after the state.
Right.
I had towels down. She saw that.
Right.
She stopped and noted that.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman with her. And he said, "When was this house built?" First one was like 2,000, 2,426, 3,000.
Right.
Turned around and said, "You got this down." And I said, "Yeah, I do. I want to sell your house. I want to get back in there next weekend.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Let's find the key." Couldn't find the key. The key was lost. So I only went so far as the kitchen to put out my cards.
Right.
I never really.
Right.
I've been in there. So we're coming out, and I said, "How are we going to work this out?" Eric, your broker, is going to probably not.
Right. Right.
And she probably already called my broker by now.
No calls, by the way.
So she said, "You see this key fob in my car?" She said, "I lost this in my freezer for over a week." Exactly what she said.
That's awesome.
Don't worry about it. We went out, and I said, "How do we?" I said, "What do we do about it?" Check with me whether we keep my mom.
Sure.
Went home. So glad that was over that night. It could have been Sunday.
Right.
thank you. Offer to get the paper, whatever.
Right.
I said, I don't want to do that. I'll make it a donation.
Awesome.
You met me at 8 o'clock at night. Which nobody would do.
Sure.
No, you didn't have to do that.
Right.
Never heard back. So today, it's just when I'm home. I might
Yeah.
ask her, I use that.
Right. Sure.
There's a rich, Jared Richards, what about, how do we set up Saturday? Before.
Perfect.
And I'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
So I want to go back in there again. If not, I have 2 other backups, that I will recruit.
Yep.
So, yeah, some of this makes mistakes.
Where there are no oxen, the stable is clean, right? But you know what, Jerry? And I wanted to point out, Jerry, because I knew Jerry was going to be doing her bank-owned open house, and hope you don't mind me sharing, Jerry. But Jerry's jumping into residential real. Jerry has sold several commercial deals, has done a ton of business, and is probably the resident expert on commercial deals that we could ever have in our group. All right, I'm telling you, knows. I mean, he's the guy. Remember when I posted just that brief introductory to cap rate that Jerry said, I looked through it and you're forgetting vacancy rate and you did it, and it's very valid, you know, and it was awesome feedback, and you're exactly right on that, by the way, and that's why we noted that. But the fact that he is willing to do this, all right, I'm telling you guys, it's impressive to me, Jerry. It really is. I just want. I mean, I knew you were doing that, and it was because I've taught this concept to hundreds of realtors now, and about 20% actually do anything with it. About 20%. All right. And knowing that your financial position, that you're doing just fine, and you have relationships and can do really big deals, but you're saying, you know what, I want to check this out. I want to get into this residential thing, and willing to reinvent himself a little bit as far as that's concerned, and not too high and mighty to sit a bank-owned open house. It's impressive. I just wanted to, that's right. Right.
I'm done with that. I want to work with Tampa Bay.
Right.
I want to get back here. This is a form of you getting back.
Yes.
I was at a networking thing last night. Maxine was going to go on her own and in Clearwater. I thought of it before.
Yeah.
She goes networking with the Liz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we both got up and told our stories. And I met a lot of nice new friends last night. They put out a list today on email. All my email address went out. Everybody that was there last night. Doing other things in addition to that. Married to somebody who's also stuff.
Yep.
And we work together on a lot of things. But I'm doing this for here. I have family here, grandchildren here. The commercial side is great. If something that comes along, I'll still do it.
Sure. Right.
If it's local,
right.
I have to travel. Somebody's going to pay my freight to get me to go out.
Right.
So the residential aspect, frankly, I think this sounds, it looks like a lot more fun. Bob, I had my first open house 40 years ago. I did. I got started on the residential side.
Right.
On development and
sure.
And all the other stuff that I've done. And it took me back. I mean, coming to this, and I had never, ever considered an hour.
Right.
We got science together.
Yep. I saw you guys dialoguing back and forth, right?
We did. I mean, and basically, they're in everything's in my car.
Right.
I could set up tomorrow.
Let's see.
The tables and the signs are in the back.
The key is it's in your car now and not stuck in that house still.
Well, I have plans to I'll put the key around your neck. I imagine my professional embarrassment is so hard to describe because I pride myself on being today. Wait, when's the last time you don't see that?
Right. Right.
I was at the old model Hampton Inn 15 minutes ago. We went by there last night at 8:25 and I said, I have to stop by and say hi to Bob.
Yeah, see?
See him here in the morning. I didn't reread the email.
That's funny. That's good. Well, Hampton Inns, come on. How many Hampton Inns are there? A lot.
I mean, what do you mean they're not here?
Too funny.
And what I thought, I'm standing there, so I go home, and I will
persist until I succeed.
I read his book.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm in it.
Awesome. I just want you to know, because guys, I'm telling you, this is, those who decide, and there's a reason behind it, right? He doesn't want to travel. He's got grandkids here. He's got a wife that he loves. He's tired of that, right? So he's consciously making a choice to make this happen. All right? Keep an eye on my time, if you will, Jim, just to make sure. Because I can roll. Next thing you know, they'll be texting us, why aren't you here? All right, to get that done. So I appreciate that, and that is cool. Guess what? So you know what? He learned his lesson because what if he had not done that this weekend and did the same thing that happened to him next weekend? He's one more weekend behind. Now he's not going to make that mistake again, right? So you learn from him and you move on. But I'm just telling you. Anybody else have a bank-owned open house while we were gone? David.
I had one at house in Brandon.
Yeah. Yep. You live down that way?
I live in Sefton.
Okay, gotcha.
Really close.
Yep.
I bought some signs that hadn't come in yet. So I went to the Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
And bought some regular open house signs. Got some duct tape, put on the duct tape. Bank owned.
Yep.
So I can
Cool.
take it off, so I can
Yeah.
keep it. Set out 6 signs, and within 2 hours before the Super Bowl, I actually had the open house.
Yeah.
I had 5 people come through the home.
Nice.
One lady left her number, said I could call her.
Yeah.
I called her back and followed up with her, but she didn't answer her phone.
That's right. Fair enough.
I had a young couple come through that was just starting to look at homes.
Perfect.
The guy right here, he told me he took my card, but
Yep.
he would not leave their phone number.
Fair enough.
I had an investor come through that was already working with the agent from Future Home Realty.
Okay.
And he had 8 homes, and he said the house was overpriced. I said,
Okay.
well, I understand how you feel.
Right.
And then I had another lady come through that said it wasn't her because there was a pool.
Right.
And she was working with a realtor already. But within 2 hours, I had 5 people walk through that house, which I was amazed because back in 2005, when the market was booming, I would have only 3 people come through a house within 8 hours.
Right.
So, it doesn't work.
Right. Bank owned does work. The key is you put foreclosure on the sign. All right. So you put foreclosure or REO or bank owned or whatever. But that's the only reason we do it, guys, is because traffic. All right. Because it generates traffic. That's what we teach. Is that if you're going to last, we're going to work. Now again, this is corn planting because we want to help you find buyers right now, people you can work with now. David.
I've done an open house twice, last Sunday and the Sunday before.
Right.
But my mindset was back during the recession when nobody was coming to open houses.
Mhm.
I mean, you'd sit there for 4 hours and you'd be alone.
Right. Sure enough. Exactly. If you want some quiet time, go do an open house. Exactly.
Bring a book or-
That's right. You know what? My significant other's just really bothering me. I got to go work. All right.
So I said, okay. And I've been hearing about all this success that people have
Yeah.
been having with open houses. So I printed out 30 flyers, and within 3.5 hours, I went through all 30 flyers. And then I did it again this Sunday, and I said, well, I'll print 5 more flyers. So I had 35.
Right.
And they're all gone. So it was,
It's
one of the things, I say an affirmation every day before I get
Awesome.
to bed.
Good.
And the affirmation is change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
Uh-huh.
And
Say that again.
change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
It's powerful.
And it has come true. I just came to Future Home Realty in January, and I can't tell you how many doors have begun to open.
There's a young man there last night. That's awesome. And compared to nobody coming in 4 hours and now running out of 30 and 35 respectively. I'm just telling you, I told you the story last time of how I discovered it and how it worked, right? It's something I wanted to do, not necessarily, but it worked. You know what I mean? And for me, and it's something you want to do for the rest of your life, probably not, right? But in the short term, if you need business today, this is a way to go get business. There's a young man, Carmelo, who's sitting. Sherry, you want to share it with? In addition to bank-owned open houses, some people are sitting at the flea markets with Sherry Lowry. Sherry, tell us what you do.
We have a bank foreclosure booth at Wagon Wheel Flea Market and at Oldsmart. And so having tremendous success. With it, we're getting about 50 leads a weekend, 50 to 60 now, going into our busy season. So I do need some agents that want to work with buyers. And if you do see me afterwards, then we'll get you in the training and become a schedule.
Go where the people. Why would you really sit in a flea market? Come on. Compared to what? Compared to what? Right? You got something else going on? I get it. All right? That's fine. I'm with you. If it's working for you, stay doing what you're doing. Right? I have no problem with that. I'm just here to present an opportunity that's probably different than what other people, I said we can hit a golf ball and find a lot of other training. I don't know anybody else teaching what we're teaching here as far as the corn planting. Everybody else is teaching to go out there and call expires. All right. So with that being said, all right, because all we're looking is face to face. We're looking for meets. Right. Car salesman, we talked about that. We're looking for ups. Right. And an up is an opportunity. The more ups you get, the better chance you are. All right. I get it. And David, here's what I know. It's David, right? Dan. Sorry. That's right. I knew it was a D. All right. No hyphenated last name, though. All right. See? Just giving you grief. All right. You all right over there? All right. Good deal. You'll get to know me. You'll be all right. Okay. All right. That, your next 5, you'll be better. All right. Because the next thing is, okay, we're going to sit these bank-owned open houses, and then we're going to get good at that. We're going to get real good. Because guess what? After 65 ups, right, we're going to get real good at converting people. Okay? Because here's my goal. Every time I had a bank-owned open house, I wanted somebody to leave there and say, you know what? We might not be ready to buy right now, but I'll tell you this. I've met my last realtor. That's the guy, that's the gal, that's the person for me. All right? Why? Because they liked the way their cologne smelled? Or they had a really cool picture on their card? No, because I could tell they cared. I could tell that they were passionate about what they were doing, and that no matter my situation, whether I was an investor, a first-time home buyer, a 12th-time home buyer, whatever the case may be, that that person likes what they do. All right, you can just tell, right? You can smell it. All cologne aside, you can smell people that like doing what they do. All right, and are passionate about it. And you can also smell people that are so desperate that they're going to chase you out the door and hound you and everything else, and nobody wants to be around that either. That smells just as bad. All right, so you want to just, put an aura of confidence. I can help you. I'd love to help you if you want my help. All right, but I'm certainly not going to chase you. All right, because guess what? I got 29 more coming in today, quite frankly, and there's power in that. When you know you've got more people coming, it doesn't matter. You don't need that one. When you're potentially looking at meeting 0 people in 4 hours and the one person comes, look out. You better be on your game right then and there. But you know what? Big deal. All right? When you're meeting 50 people at the flea market, all right, so you screwed up. All right? And you're going to find that as you start to open the floodgates start to open. You can't stop it. All right? I got all sorts of, spiritual reasons why I believe that happens, but I don't want to offend you. But I'm just telling you, Carmelo, this guy that was sitting some bank-owned stuff sitting in the flea market for Sherry, was telling the story last night because I've been in the business a while, and I finally decided to start doing it. I got into my mind was telling me this isn't working for me, and all of a sudden, now that I started doing this, I started meeting buyers at the flea market. Now people called me from out of the blue, a person who I sold a home to 3 years ago, and now says their sister needs to buy. Does that have anything to do with sitting at the flea market? Not directly, but I think if you change the mindset and now the aura is, hey, this can work and I'm good at it, you know what I mean? Now people are like, hey, look, I don't know what happened, but I just got something hit me that I needed to call you and tell you my sister's looking to buy. I don't know, right? But activity breeds activity. That's all I can say. Is that when you're active, things happen. All right, and good stuff's going to go. So that's what we do. All right, becoming an expert investor buying because you're going to meet investors. Hopefully, they're not all working with another agent, but if they are, they're working with Future Home. That's good. All right. Okay. All right. Very good. Work first-time home buyers with vigor. Why? Because first-time home buyers are so loyal and they refer the heck out of you. All right, you treat them right. And you know what? Someone brought up last night on the right-hand side of the Mid-Florida Regional MLS on the homepage. There's the down payment assistant programs are all there. They list them. There's links to everything. Learn those. I guess this Friday morning, 9:30 at GTAR. Now again, we're over here. All right, but I think you can still go even if you're not a Greater Tampa Association Realtor member. There's a whole almost I think it's a full day on all the lenders and people that represent these nonprofits that do the down payment assistance are going to be there telling about their programs. Go educate yourself on those things. Okay, you have my permission to miss the corn planting conference call, all right, to go do that. All right, that's where I want you to be. Go learn that kind of stuff and figure out, hey, you know what? They get a $2,000 tax credit if they're a first-time home buyer and they qualify, and there's SHIP program funds, and there's this funds, and there's that. People can get it for little or no money down, but sometimes no money down. And I'll tell you this, I made a boatload of money. Where are we right now? Okay. About 180 yards from here, there's a Coast Guard air station. All right. I met my first Coast Guard guy, all right, when I was sitting in a bank-owned open house back in 1994. Okay. I probably sold 80 homes to Coast Guard people. All right. Why? Man, you're a vet. You got DD 214. Okay. You got that separation paper. You're good. You're currently active. Hallelujah, man. Oh yeah, but I'm only here for 3 years. Why not make it your first? What are you gonna do? You're gonna be, how long are you be in the Coast Guard? Well, I'm gonna be in there 20 years. Okay, and you're gonna move you every 3 years, so you're never gonna own a home. Silence is golden, right? Well, hadn't thought. What if this? Let's say in a worst case scenario, we buy you a home, all right, first time home buyer, and you have VA eligibility, zero down. Can you say zero down? Repeat after me. Zero down. Right? I'm going to structure this deal, get you every penny back. I'll get you your home inspection money back at closing. All right? So I'm going to structure this deal because you're a vet. You should get it. Zero money down, payments less than what you're going to be paying in rent anyway now, and you get transferred out in 3 years. Guess what? Make it a rental property and start a portfolio. Hallelujah. Right? Why are you paying somebody else's rent? Remember that card? Everybody's buying real estate. Some are buying it from themselves. Some are buying it for their landlord. Right? Help those kind of people. And then once I did that, that dude just tacked my thing at the whatever the break room is in there. And next thing you know, I'm working with 8 different Coast Guard people. Hey, you just helped out, Mike. How do you do that? Well, no money down. It just rolled. You know what I mean? Treat people right. Do the next right thing. They'll tell other people, and you don't want to do with all the business. Okay? End of seminar. Have a great day. That's as simple as it gets, other than just do it. Right? Other than just do it. Right? Now, that's the hard part. Bob, you don't know my excuses. I've got a lot of them, and they're all lame. All right? Okay. All right. Okay, well, wrong person to listen to. List by referral. What does that mean? You're going to work with so many people. You work with all these people that you're not going to have to do a listing. Bob, I don't have a listing presentation. You don't need one. Right? You go take care of Mike at the at the Coast Guard Air Station, and he's having dinner with his friend who works with his wife works for a lady and says, hey, look, we need to sell our home. And they interview one. And here's the interview. How much do you think our house is worth? Well, that's probably worth about 180. Okay, here are the numbers I'm looking at. Okay, great. Where do we sign? Listing presentation done. Okay, that's it. You're an order taker. I'm telling you, it's that simple when goes that way, right? But it's the activity that breeds the activity, right? You got to be out there doing it. All right, corn planting conference call, 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., depending if I change it. I'm just kidding. Okay, I promise I'll never change it again. All right, all right. 10 a.m. All right, corn planting conference call. Except this Friday, if you want to be a GTAR instead, go there. All right. Or here's all we do here. All right. Help me overcome, Bob. I heard you had those bank-owned open houses. What do I do next? Well, do you have any signs? No, I don't have any yet. Well, you're not going to get anybody tomorrow, so that's cool. No problem. Let's just go to Home Depot or Ace or wherever you are and get a regular open house sign. Go to the board, get a regular open house sign. Home Depot even has these little 6-inch riders that a lot of times they're blank riders that you can stick on the top of the corrugated. That it says it says open house. Just write with a marker, bank foreclosure. All right, open house. Yeah, but how do I find somebody who wants to do it? Jamie Maloney and Christina Griffin have a whole list of people. Go find another one. All right, somebody else. Just call them up. All right, Jerry, how'd that conversation go when you called the listing agent? Not first, not before you lost the key. All right, but when you were setting up, yeah.
Basically, I did that by getting the showing. I went through the showing process.
Yeah.
And then I sent an email.
Oh, perfect. Because you knew it was an REO.
Yeah, this is the standoff. This is somebody that I don't think we would know.
Yeah, I understand.
It's not our kind of
I understand. But you still want him over.
all they do. They're a very small group.
Yeah.
This is all they do.
Right?
And their whole idea of customer service is so bottom.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't. They don't usually allow it.
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, this is the concept. They're not.
See? You want him over.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out in a bit.
But you know what? If nothing else, you got in the first time. That was impressive.
And that could have possibly
Right.
worked out really well.
Right.
And we'll see what happens.
Right. But if they say no, if they had said no, you go find the next one. I'll say, hey, this is Bob McDougall, Future Home Realty. I saw you have several bank-owned properties. Hey, look, my broker's teaching us to sit open houses there, and I was wondering if you allow people to sit open houses at your bank-owned properties. Well, I don't know. Okay, thanks. I said, okay, well, why? They said, well, why would I do that? I said, well, sometimes it's good. I'm making a win-win. I don't know. Sometimes you have to report back to your asset manager that you've doing everything you can to market the property, or sometimes you have to send people out there once a week anyway, take pictures, make sure everything's there are no plumbing leaks and everything else. I'm happy to do whatever I can do. Any reports I can fill out for you while I'm there, make it a win-win for us both. No, I don't think we can allow that. Okay, great. Thanks anyway. Have a great day. Move on to the next one. All right. Jamie Maloney and Christina Griffin have a lot of them, and they've already given us authority to do them. You need to call them and email them, say, hey, look, I'd like to do this one. All right. And you get a response back. No problem. Nobody else is doing that one. You're good. Okay. But on that Friday morning conference call, that's where we overcome your hurdles. All right. If you want to figure out how to do these. All right. We got to roll. Michael Mayer's book, 7 Levels of Communication. That's an awesome book. Okay. By the way, Michael, he's a member of the Facebook group page, so he follows it. All right. So just be aware of that before you post anything too blatantly disrespectful about the book. Number one. Number two, he would be self-admitted that he just compiled a bunch of stuff, right? There's nothing new under the sun. He just took a little bit of this and a little bit of that and kind of made a story out of it and stuff that had made him a successful agent and said, hey, look, he's got, helping people overcome their stuff. But the key there is what? The generosity cycle. Remember that? Where instead of first asking for the referral, you go be generous first, right? Generosity leads to reciprocity, which reciprocity leads to referrals for us. And enough referrals will help us to be profitable, and profitability leads us to prosperity. And the more prosperous we are, we can be even more generous, and the cycle starts all over again, right? And in essence, we are to stop asking for referrals, period. Okay? There's no need. Stop asking for it. That whole script you learned about everything you're going to end every sentence with, or every conversation you ever have with somebody, by the way, anybody looking to know buy or sell real estate in the next 6 months, I really appreciate referral, throw it out the window. Gone. Out. Gone. Do not say it anymore. All right? If you have it on your card, get new cards. The sincerest form of flattery I could ever receive is a referral from a trusted source. Get it off your cards. I get it. All right, we were taught that. I'm not blaming you if you have it. I had it on some of my cards in the past too. All right? Get rid of it. Just go do the next right thing and let them, they will feel obligated to refer you. And if they never do, no big deal because you're doing the next right thing. That's simple. Okay? It's really that easy. The story's a great story, how he goes through and revolutionizes himself. Well, how much do I got to spend in marketing? He says, none. You're going to spend 0. Remember that as coach? You spend 0 on marketing. That's a good thing. That's a hallelujah, right? Instead of, well, you know what? I can teach you to make a lot of money if you buy this system and that system. And if you get this website, forget that mess. All right? Just go be nice. Just go be nice. All right? Focus on people and relationships. Dig deeper with a few rather than shallow with many. Does he talk about in the book? I've heard him speak in person. I'm talking in the book. I can't remember. Does he talk about that really we need to cull it down to about 150? Right? In the book, we talk about 22,500. Does he get to that number too? Okay. 22,500. That's not push-ups. I'm doing way more than that. All right. 22,500 is 150 times 150. Right? 150 times. Why? You need to know 150 people. All right? And be pretty intimate and deep with 150. That's a lot, by the way. I'm not saying you have, know them too deep, but here's the thing. Those 150 know 150. All right? And take 150 times 150, that's 22,500. That's all the referral sources you'll ever need. Okay? Period. Because they will, if you take care of 150 people, their 22.5 will take care of you. Fair enough? In essence, stop selling and start attracting. Remember, we're going to stop chasing business. We're going to attract it. Nobody wants to be chased anyway. Remember the platinum rule? Not the golden rule. Remember the platinum rule in the book? Treat others the way they want to be treated. Golden rule says treat other people the way you would want to treat other people the way you'd want to be treated. But just because I want to be treated that way doesn't mean that Dan wants to be treated that way. Right? So the platinum rule says I'm going to treat Dan the way he wants to be treated. There's a lot in that book. We're going to continue coming back to the book because he talked about the disc profile and some of the reticular activation systems. There's a lot of stuff that he does that is really cool if you start to implement. All right? It's really good. Okay? More 7 levels. Okay? I got to fly through this. Morning ritual. Okay? Affirmations. All right? That was dead on. Love that. Okay? Affirmations. Eating healthy. Working out. Getting yourself going in the morning. Dressing properly. Now, again, Florida leaves us a lot of latitude in how we dress. It really does. All right, you are professionally dressed if you have a crease in your shorts. Okay, okay, right? That's just, you know what I mean. It's, that's okay. You can, you know what? Dress according to the people you're going to be meeting, right? Okay, because there's other people, you know what I mean? Why don't I dress this way all the time? Because quite frankly, a lot of people I was working with are like, hey, dude, funeral director or what? All right, what's going on, right? What happened to the Bob I met that had, shorts and a polo on, right? Because I was sitting in a bank on open house with no air conditioning in July. All right, so I dressed like this, and you wouldn't want to smell me after about an hour. Okay, so with that in mind, just dress accordingly, but be professional, be attractive, right? As you walk out the door. Pre-leave ritual. This is one. You know what? Man, I wish I could spend more time on this. Pre-leave ritual. This is before you leave. You're just going to organize your stuff. There's so much to be unpacked here. I don't know if I can get through. I can't get through it all, but the key here is to button up your business for the day. All right, whatever time that may be, and leave it. Because this business can consume you if you allow it. All right, and when it consumes you, it can consume those around you and those you love, and your priorities get out of whack, and next thing you know, things are not good. Okay? So by doing this pre-leave ritual, okay, I'm going to talk about first and 10 real fast because that's part of the biggest thing on the pre-leave ritual. First and 10. All of first and 10 is there's some questions in the book. They reference it in the book, but the first and 10 is your to-do list for the first thing tomorrow morning. All I can say is this, and I got 90 seconds to wrap this up. While you're in the heat of battle and you're cleaning up your desk in your pre-leave ritual, you know the first 10 things, first 8 things, first 14 things, first 3 things you need to do tomorrow. It's fresh on your mind. Hey, I got to call the appraiser on this. I got to check in on that. I got to call the marketing guy to figure out what's going on with my signs. I got to do. So you write those down. Right now, you're in the heat of battle. You remember them. You have their name and their phone number. It's right there. Your files are all right there as you're cleaning up. Boom, 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 boom. 2 things happen. You're done. You leave it. It's off your mind and on paper. You're not going to go to dinner with your family, all right? And while you're at dinner, be thinking about the appraisal and all the marketing because you've already taken care of it. It's down there. Plus, the next thing is when you walk back in tomorrow, you're going to look at that list and say, hey, here's what I got to do. Boom, 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 boom. You're done in 20 minutes when before it was taking you 40 minutes to even remember what you were supposed to do from the night before. Telling you, that one trick right there will solve a lot of your time problems. Okay? Think about it in that concept and we'll discuss it. First and 10, pre-sleep ritual. I call it prayer. Other people call it meditation. Other people call it whatever. Okay? Just, you know what? I re-reflect the day. Next time we're going to come back. This is too important to gloss over. So we're going to come back to these rituals. Sunday night ritual, that is the hugest one of all. All right? That's the little adjustments. Okay, that we're making, smaller adjustments more often, right? Jerry, here's the good news about being in residential real estate, is that if one deal falls apart, it doesn't hurt as bad as when one commercial deal falls apart. Okay, right? Okay, I've been working on this commercial deal for 3 years, and all of a sudden it fell apart at the closing table. There's 3 years worth of work gone. Whereas when you're selling 40 homes a year, it's like, so one fell off, just replace it. All right, there's 2.5% of my income for the year. All right, as compared to 300% of my income for the year because I had 3 years wrapped up in this deal. All right. So the big payoff, but you know what I mean on the commercial deal, but that's the nice thing. All right. So smaller adjustments. I don't have enough to say about the greatest salesman in the world. Go back and read the book again. Those scrolls rock. All right. Now, those scrolls that I'm posting in the Facebook group page, those are just kind of my take on it. The scrolls are actually longer. All right. Create some of your own, all right? But go back and read those. Matter of fact, I've been traveling, haven't posted didn't post yesterday. I'll post number 6, I think we're on now, all right? Go back and read the scroll. It's incredible stuff. One of my favorites is, there are a couple. We have some that we haven't gotten to yet that I've posted, but someone brought up yesterday the one about, it's not treat each day as if you're last. That's the most recent one about, I can't remember. They were talking about how his word pictures are that that the past is the past, can't undo that. And the way he says it, the way Ogmandino says it though is, can a man cause the sand to go back up into the hourglass? Now that's a word picture. I love authors because I don't have that talent, right? People that can write and do that to me and draw emotion in me, all right, are I'm worth every penny of every book I've ever paid for them to teach me. right? But that kind of stuff, I'm just telling you, stop watching TV and read, all right? So much better. So much better, okay? All right, we'll go through this. We'll talk about this later. I already talked about what's the number one reason to have a coach. Accountability. That's it. That's all they do for you, okay? So if you need one, you want to pay me $3,000 a month to be your coach, I'll do it, all right? I don't think you need one, all right? I think you can do it on your own, but if you're not going to, if you want to pay me $3,000 and you'll make another 8, then God bless you. You're still $5,000 ahead of the game, all right? Happy to do it. If not, go be your own accountability, or don't be your own. Find somebody to be accountable to, all right? Because you aren't going to be your own accountability partner. If you were, you'd already be doing it. Exactly. I can beat you up with the best of them. All right. Okay. All right. We'll get through all that. That was our commitments. Everybody's drinking their water and working out and sleeping 8 hours. All sorts of good things happening. All right. Find an accountability partner. I'll post these. All right. I apologize. Really got to run. I'll post these. The slides will be there. Our next meeting is 3/2. All right. March 2nd. Here in this room. All right, here in this room, and we will be here. I'll let you know. There is one more day that we're going to be back over at Pro, but I won't worry about bothering you until that's coming up. All right, we are here in this room. Everybody fair enough? Okay, I apologize that I've got to run. If you need me, text me. I probably won't get back to you after around 2 or 2:30. If you really need something, be on the conference call on Friday if you want. Join the Facebook group page. Post some stuff there. There's even a subgroup that's wanting to form about the bank-owned open houses. They're starting to dialogue amongst each other and all that kind of stuff. Check it out. There's power in numbers, guys. There's the synergy that is created with the group is incredible. Fair enough? Okay, good deal. Again, I apologize. I have to go. Apologize that I'm wearing a tie, and I apologize that I have to leave early. All right. All right, have a great day. If you need us, let us know.